Hey, howdy, friends. It's Steve DePoe here with the Rose Realty team with this week's real estate vlog for North Texas. Today, we're going to talk about home inspection basics. Now, this is following along with the theme of getting your house ready for sale in 25. Okay. Now, hey, if you're not even thinking about it, fast forward, go to the end, and drop a thumbs up. Okay. But if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking 25 is the year for us, then this is going to be some tips about the home inspection process and maybe something might consider before putting your home on the market. Okay, so this is something sort of new to the North Texas area, but it's actually something that's becoming sort of popular. Okay, we'll get to that in just a second. Hey, before we get started, hey, do us a favor and go to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/at moving to Dallas, Texas. And like and subscribe to our channel. Doesn't cost you anything. Hey, but you know what you'll get? You'll get access to all of the videos and vlogs I've done in the past. There's like over 400 of them. And that'll allow you to kind of go back and say, hey, I remember Steve did this one on preparing your house for sale, and there was something in there about curb appeal, and maybe you want to review that portion. Um, so that'll allow you to go back and see all of those. You'll have access to them. I tend to think that they're sort of learning videos, all of them, and so that'll help you. That'll help you become the smartest person in your neighborhood. And so that could be a real big advantage to you. We thank you for watching our video here and for watching our videos every week. And we appreciate you for supporting us and supporting our business. We appreciate that very much. Okay, so first let's get into it. So before so there's this sort of wave coming up a little bit where people are doing home inspections on their home before they list it. Now, why are they doing that? So number one, that's gonna cost you somewhere between 500 and around $700 to have a home inspection. Now, why do you do that? Well, there's right now there's it's still it's still a buyer's market, okay, but we have something around 3 months of inventory, so that still indicates a buyer's market. But that also means a rising inventory level, which means if you're selling your house in Argyle and you want to sell it or move into something else, someplace else, inside of Texas, outside of Texas, whatever, you have more competition today than you did, let's say, 2 years ago. Okay. And so you want to be prepared to beat the competition and to get your house sold before they get their house sold. Okay. And it's plain and simple. And so one of the ways for you to do that is to do a pre-listing inspection, which will tell you, number one, all the things that are in your house that have to be corrected. Let's stick a pin in that and get back to it. It'll give you the opportunity to identify those things, to resolve some potential issues, or come up with a strategy. Now, the downside to this, and we want to be clear, the downside to this is if your inspector comes back and says, gee, Steve, we did the inspection and you need a new roof. You have two choices. You actually have like three. You have like three choices. Number one, first of all, what you have to do is you're going to have to now declare that in your seller's disclosure. Inspection indicated we need a new roof. Okay. You can then reduce the price of your house. You could talk to the insurance agent and say, hey, look, we're not going to repair the house, but how much would it end up costing? Or bring in a a roofer and find out how much it's going to cost you out of pocket, and therefore the buyer out of pocket, and reduce the price of your house that much. Okay. Or you could have the house have the roof repaired. Okay. I like to focus on roofs because they're easy to understand. or you're going to have the roof repaired. And we've got a couple of great roofers that we could recommend. And then you talk to that roofer, and the roofer does a good job for you. But you also have to then again put on the seller's disclosure, roofers recently repaired. Okay. And then hopefully the warranty or whatever will get that transferred over to the buyer. So the idea behind this is when your house finally hits the market, okay, that it's going to be in as pristine a condition as possible. So when the buyer comes in, they see we don't have to do anything. Okay. More and more people, as they move into homes in the North Texas area, don't want to they come a lot of people, as I've said many times, come from out of state, and they're relocating here, and they don't know anybody. They don't know a roofer, they don't know a plumber, they don't know a painter. Okay. And we tend to give them our list of people, but they don't know people. Okay. And so they come in and they say, well, geez, if I need a new roof, who do I call? Are they going to take advantage of me, etc.? Okay. And so what they want is, when they come in from out of the area, they want a house that's in almost near perfect condition. And so one of the ways for you to beat the competition is to make sure that you get that home inspection, and then these things then are in phenomenal shape. And then you say, hey, look, you can buy my house, which has a new roof, and I fixed the plumbing, or the house next door, and who knows what's going on there. So that's the reason we're kind of recommending at this point the pre-listing inspection. So in Denton, some of Denton, it's not only Denton, it's Denton County. Some of the issues that we find in Denton County is foundation cracks, heating and air conditioning issues, or inefficiencies, and then roof damage. I already talked about roof damage. We get hailstorms here about that we have to replace your roof every like 5 to 7 years. And so if you're longer than that 7 year period, the chances are you're going to need a new roof. Foundation cracks are normal. They're, especially in this kind of soil that we have. But we want to make sure that the cracks are just surface cracks, and they're not anything that's a big deal. So that when somebody comes in and says, hey, there's a crack over there, you give them the report and say, hey, it's not that big a deal, and I have the report that says so. And then the HVAC inefficiencies, depending on the size and the year of the system, there could be little tweaks that have to be made to the system. Again, you do those things, you understand some of those things are minor. Some, like the roof, could be a big thing if you don't talk to your insurance agent. But make sure they get done, so that when you put your house on the market, it's in great shape. So before the inspector arrives, you want to make sure he has easy access to the roof and crawl spaces and those kinds of things, and that there's clutter removed, and he can get to the HVAC system, or can get to the roof. And we want to make sure that that he or she, it doesn't have any obstructions, that they can't get to these areas, in quickly and safely. So we want to kind of make sure that stuff is taken care of. When you go up into the attic, let's make sure that we're safe up there. Don't fall through the roof, through ceiling rather. And don't do anything that you can't do if you've got issues, back, leg, or whatever, age. Age, then bring somebody in to help you out. But make sure that your home is prepared for the inspector to come through. Now, once you receive the report, don't panic. Okay, the inspector's job is to check off and mark like every little thing that he sees, even though it's for you and not the buyer. He's going to check off every little thing that he sees. So don't worry about it. Talk to your insurance agent. If you don't have an insurance agent, talk to us. We'll be glad to help you out. And we're gonna prioritize some of the essential repairs. Okay, so yeah, a roof and some maybe plumbing issues and something that leaks. If we've got an electrical issue, fault ground or something like that, we're going to get that taken care of. There's a lot of things that the inspector is going to come up with that Depending on the time of year, obviously the age of the house, he's going to come up with. Now, one of the things that always comes up as an example is caulking around exterior windows. Every every repair amendment that I have done for a buyer, except on new construction, every repair amendment that I've done for a buyer, it always says, caulking on the exterior windows needs to be replaced. And every time I ask for that, I get rejected. And why is that? That's because we're in Texas. We get a lot of heat, we get a lot of weather, and all the caulking on the exterior windows needs to be fixed. Okay. And so if this is sort of a traditional thing, like I don't like Bermuda grass, or something like that, then what's going to end up happening is it just gets rejected. Okay. A cracked window, yeah, okay. A window with the seal broken, yeah, okay. But the caulking around the window, generally speaking, they don't repair those things. FYI. Okay. So what we're going to do is sit down and talk about what things we should repair, what things we shouldn't repair, what things we should then, do a strategy on if we're going to repair it or not, and what is that going to mean to your listing price. So again, you're going to sell your house, and your real estate agent is going to be your best friend and your ally, and navigating this inspection. We're going to discuss the strategies, what we should and shouldn't do, what we should do about the potentially adjusting, the price, and then proposing long term, not long term, but proposing specific items over the term of the the listing, what we're going to do. So, for example, yeah, we're probably going to encourage you to replace the roof. Yeah, we're probably going to encourage you again, because they have to be brought out in the seller's disclosure. Once it has to be brought out in the seller's disclosure. But some things we may not fool around with. I don't know. Okay, as an example, you might have a crack at the corner of your foundation. Okay, like every house in Texas almost has a crack in the corner of their foundation. Okay, the question is that because there's no support at that point. Okay, there's no rebar going through at that point. And so the question is that just your standard crack, or is there something larger that's a problem? If it's your standard crack, okay, we're probably going to either leave it alone, or we're going to throw some water over it, but we're going to mention it in the report, and say the seller's disclosure, and say, hey, minor corner cracks in the foundation was repaired. There's maybe some things that we're going to choose not to repair, that we're going to bring it up, and we're going to in the seller's disclosure, and we're going to say, hey, these things exist here, because we had this home inspection, and here's the home inspection. Mr. Buyer, free to look at it. And then there's just not something that we're going to address. Okay, and that's what it comes down to. Now, now you're talking about a buyer who's going to get a house who's been inspected, the major things have been repaired, and some of these minor things that are more kind of personal, preference, if you will, are not going to be repaired. Now they have peace of mind. This buyer has peace of mind that this house is in good shape. It's not going to fall down, and as the seller, you're also going to offer a home warranty, and so everybody's going to be happy, and your house is going to sell quicker and before the house down the street. Okay, because they didn't do a pre-listing home inspection. Hope that was helpful. Next week, we're going to talk about relocating to North Texas. I'm going to take a little break from the buying and selling aspect, and we're going to talk about relocating to North Texas. Rose and I relocated here, over 25 years ago. Couldn't be happier with our decision. So relocating to North Texas next week. This is Steve with the #1 Rose Realty team. Thanks for watching.